Hey everyone, welcome to Spooky Story Time. My name is Miss Lorena, and today I'm going to be reading some books that are a little spooky, not too scary. And we're going to start off with a little song. If you want to sing along or clap along and stomp along, you are more than welcome to. And we'll start off with, if you're spooky and you know it, clap your hands. If you're spooky and you know it, clap your hands. If you're spooky and you know it, and you really want to show it, if you're spooky and you know it, clap your hands. Next one will be, if you're sneaky and you know it, nod your head. If you're sneaky and you know it, nod your head. If you're sneaky and you know it, and you really want to show it, if you're sneaky and you know it, nod your head. How about if you're wicked and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're wicked and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're wicked and you know it, and you really want to show it, if you're wicked and you know it, stomp your feet. And if you're naughty and you know it, snap your fingers. You snap your fingers? If you're naughty and you know it, snap your fingers. If you're naughty and you know it, and you really want to show it, if you're naughty and you know it, snap your fingers. How about if you're, what was the next one? If you're creepy and you know it, jump up and down. If you're creepy and you know it, jump up and down. If you're creepy and you know it, and you really want to show it, if you're creepy and you know it, jump up and down. The next one will be, if you're frightful and you know it, dance around. If you're frightful and you know it, dance around. If you're frightful and you know it, and you really want to show it, if you're frightful and you know it, dance around. Good job. All right, I have a little rhyme for you. And it goes, 4 batty bats. Can you show me 4 fingers? They're going to be our bats for today. Can you hang them down? Flip them over. 4 batty bats were hanging beneath the moon. Quiet, said the first, the witch is coming soon. She's green, said the second, with a purple pointy nose. Black boots, said the third, can scratch you, that I know. I'm scared, said the fourth, I think we'd better go. 4 batty bats escaped into the night. Dear me, said the witch, that's a scary sight. All right. Now, I do have some bats here with me as well. I'm going to put them up for you to see. You can count 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I have 5 bats here. 5 little bats on a dark, dark night. 5 little bats are quite a sight. 5 little bats, are you keeping score? 1 flies away, and then there were, let's count, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 little bats, as happy as can be. 1 flies away, and that leaves, right, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 little bats swooping in towards you. 1 flies away, and that leaves 2. 1, 2. 2 little bats having lots of fun. 1 flies away, and that leaves 1. 1 little bat, and we're almost done. He flies away, and then there were none. Good job. And this last one goes, I saw a little ghost. Can you put your binoculars on? I saw a little ghost. He saw me too. I waved at him, but he said, boo! All right, now it's time for our first story. And this is called On a Windy Night. Let's see what happens on this windy night. On a windy night, on a winding road, a boy walks home with a heavy load. On this winding road, on this windy night, clouds hide the moon, and in creeps fright. Through dark woods and down a hill, the boy walks fast and faster still. What's that? His heart flip-flops with fear. A whisper rustles in his ear. Crackle-de-clack, bones in a sack. They could be yours if you look back. The boy squeaks, who? Do you mean me? Who else? Owl hoots back from his tree. The wind blows leaves that brush his face. The panicked boy begins to race. But even though he holds his ears, it's louder now the voice he hears. Crackle-de-clack, bones in a sack. They could be yours if you look back. He leaves the spooky woods behind, but in the field, what does he find? Real skeletons! They dance in rows, clacking knees and crackling toes. Rough fingers whip his hands and cheek. He runs, but he hears an awful shriek. Crackle-de-clack, bones in a sack. They could be yours if you look back. The boy runs blindly, fast seems slow. Then, suddenly, he stubs his toe. He reaches out and feels a head. It doesn't move, it must be dead. The boy's feet barely touch the ground. Again it comes, that deafening sound. Crackle-de-clack, bones in a sack. They could be yours if you look back. He runs so fast, he's breathing hard. He's almost there, he's in the yard. A shadow rubs against his legs. Don't hurt me, please, the scared boy begs. The hairy beast sits on his shoe, and then it makes a meek mew. When the clouds roll by, a full moon shines bright. The boy looks back and laughs outright. Ha, ha, ha. Now dry corn stalks dance where the bones had been. The head's a pumpkin once again. So the boy scoops up his purring cat. They both go home, and that is that. Until they hear clackety-clack. The end. That was a little spooky, walking in the woods alone, right? Now I have some rhymes for you. The first one goes, Mary had a little ghost. His face was white as cloud, and everywhere that Mary went, he followed in his shroud. He followed her to school one day, so misty, pale, and cool. The children screamed and ran away to see a ghost at school. There we have Zombie Miss Muffet. Zombie Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet, eating her worms and dirt, when along came a spider who sat down beside her, and so she ate him for dessert. Yuck. I don't like spiders. And our last little rhyme here is Twinkle, twinkle, lantern Jack, grinning orange against the black, crouched beneath the window light like a watchman in the night. We have one other spooky story. It's called The Dark. This is by Lemony Snicket. Is the dark scary? I think it's a little scary. Laszlo was afraid of the dark. The dark lived in the same house as Laszlo, a big place with a creaky roof, smooth, cold windows, and several sets of stairs. Sometimes the dark hid in the closet. Sometimes it sat behind the shower curtain. But mostly it spent its time in the basement. All day long the dark would wait in a distant corner, far from the squeaks and rattles of the washing machine, pressed up against some old, damp boxes and a chest of drawers nobody ever opened. At night, of course, the dark went out and spread itself against the windows and doors of Laszlo's house. But in the morning, the dark would be back in the basement where it belonged. Laszlo would peek at the dark every morning. "Hi," he would say. "Hi, dark." Laszlo thought that if he visited the dark in the dark's room, maybe the dark wouldn't come visit him in his room. But one night, it did. "Laszlo," the dark said in the dark. The voice of the dark was as creaky as the roof of the house, and as smooth and cold as the windows. And even though the dark was right next to Laszlo, the voice seemed very far away. "What do you want?" asked Laszlo. "I want to show you something," said the dark. "In here?" "No," said the dark. "Here?" No, said the dark. "Downstairs." "Downstairs?" "Yes," said the dark. In Laszlo's living room was the biggest window in the house. Laszlo looked out at all the dark outside. Above him, the roof creaked, and he closed his eyes. Now the dark was all Laszlo could see. No, said the dark again. "Not there. Down here." "In the basement?" asked Laszlo. "Yes," said the dark. Laszlo had never dared come to the dark's room at night. "Come closer," said the dark. Laszlo came closer. even closer, said the dark. You might be afraid of the dark, but the dark is not afraid of you. That's why the dark is always close by. The dark peeks around the corner and waits behind the door. And you can see the dark up in the sky almost every night, gazing down at you as you gaze up at the stars. Without a creaky roof, the rain would fall on your bed. And without a smooth, cold window, you could never see outside. And without a set of stairs, you could never go into the basement where the dark spends its time. Without a closet, you would have nowhere to put your shoes. And without a shower curtain, you would splash water all over the bathroom. And without the dark, everything would be light, and you would never know if you needed a light bulb. Bottom drawer, said the dark. What? Bottom drawer, said the dark. Open the bottom drawer. It's a light bulb. Thank you, said Laszlo. You're welcome, said the dark. By the time Laszlo got back into bed, the dark was no longer in his room, except when he closed his eyes to go to sleep. The next morning, Laszlo visited the dark in the basement. Hi, he said. Hi, dark. The dark didn't answer, but the bottom drawer was still open, so it looked like something in the corner was smiling. The dark kept on living with Laszlo, but it never bothered him again. The end. And I have one more story for you. And it's about zombies. I think zombies are kind of spooky. It's called I Want to Eat Your Books. Who's limping strangely down the hall with outstretched arms and groaning jaw? A zombie! Could it really be? I hope he won't come after me. I raced to class but turned to see the zombie boy sit next to me. I think he's new from out of town, says Sophie with a nervous frown. Oh no, cries Eric. Take a look. He's chomping on your science book. And now he's got a paperback he's munching as a midday snack. He looks at us with bulgy eyes and chews a torn-off page and cries, I want to eat your books. He rips a chunk of Sharks at Sea. Non-fiction's now his cup of tea. We look around for Mrs. Schmidt. When she sees this, she'll have a fit. This monster's not a carnivore. The guy's a hungry bookivore. He wolfs my vocab book like cake. He'll learn the word for tummy ache. He rolls his head and hunts his prey. I hide my favorite. Go away! You're not to hunt poor Frankenstein. This clumsy beast's a friend of mine. Then, just in time, our teacher's here. It's library, and we all cheer. The zombie stops and shoots a glare, then tilts his head to sniff the air. His monstrous plan, I quickly see, is to devour the library. Oh no! I want to eat your books. The creature marches down the aisle and stops at sci-fi with a smile. Such crispy pages strewn with words, our creatures craving seconds, thirds. This monster's diet is insane. brought the perfect book, the brain. I hold it up with shaking hand. I hope our friend will understand. He grunts and groans, then grasps the book and flips the page to take a look. His fingers slide around the charts, the human brain and all its parts. The zombie drools with growing greed, then taps the page and shouts, "Please read." He listens, nods with little slurps, and fills the air with paper burps. And then, to everyone's surprise, he shuffles up the row and cries, "I want to read your books." We hear a rip and whirl around. A real-life mummy's come unwound. She's tearing sheets from easy crafts to fill her holes and stop the drafts. We need to stop this paper fight. Then stunned, we see an awesome sight. Our zombies found a box in white and gently tapes the mummy tight. We creep in closer for a look to find him reading her a book. The end. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed those spooky stories and hope that you weren't too scared to listen to them today with me. And we will see you again soon.